Midterm papers. Either love them or you hate them. Let's be honest, most of you hate them. They were a pain to do, and they were something in high school that you often left until a couple of days before they were due. The result was often an inadequate paper that you hated doing and your teacher hated marking. In university, I'd like to think that things are different, or can be. In this video, I'll show you how to write an awesome paper that you'll actually enjoy doing and your professor will be excited about grading. Think that's impossible? Well, stay tuned as we go through how to write an A grade paper. First, and perhaps most importantly, read the assignment. Most of the questions you'll have as to how to do this are in that document. Read it during the first week of class. You don't have to do anything about it, just read it and leave it for a couple of days. Let the idea of the assignment percolate in the back of your head for a while. At the end of the first week, have a look at it with the course outline next to it. The assignment was given to you because it has something to do with the course, naturally. Try and figure out how it ties into your coursework. Now scribble a short list of ideas that you'd like to explore within the confines of the assignment. Head over to the internet and start searching for some of your topics. Remember though that academic or professional references are what you're looking for, but it's okay to start with Wikipedia or something similar just to get a handle on the scope of your topic. Keep a list of the sources you're finding in a Word document, so you'll be able to go back to them later. Use these first resources as a way of wrapping your head around the topic and to help narrow your focus. Let me give you an example. I've been interested in music synthesizers since I was a teenager, so I want to write a paper on that. But I needed to focus that down even more for a university paper. Personally, I think that some of the early synthesizers that Robert Moog created were pretty neat, but I realized early in my searching that he wasn't the first person to come up with synthesized music. So I started looking at who came before him. You can see right away that even though my topic is Bob Moog and his influence on modern music, I'm already thinking out of the box and realizing that the topic is bigger than just him. So I started with some quick searching on the internet about early synthesizers. I'd heard of a thing called a theremin, so I looked that up and found out more about Lev Theremin, the inventor. I read about 6 articles on theremin to get a feel for what he'd done and how the theremin device worked. Why so many? Because I'm going to synthesize what I found in these articles in my final paper. I want to put in my own words and I don't want to plagiarize. Every word that I will be writing in my paper is my own. No cutting and pasting from any internet site. I started to keep a working bibliography. Now, frankly, this used to be a pain to keep your sources in the required academic format that your university or course required. But there are now free tools to do this formatting for you. Search online for academic referencing tool and you'll find lots. Try a few, see which ones work best for you. Copy and paste each properly formatted reference into that Word document that has all of your sources. This will save you a lot of time and effort when you want to make your bibliography at the end of your final paper. After I had a bunch of theremin articles, I figured the next historical development would probably be electronic organs. I found lots of articles, some by Hammond and Wurlitzer, which then led me to some links to some of the experiments in early music synthesis done at Bell Labs in Columbia and Princeton. More notes, more articles, some academic journals from universities, some from professional music journals, all became part of my working bibliography. Already, I've taken a couple of hours to research stuff and I haven't even started on Bob Moog yet. So it was time to go back to the internet. There are so many websites about him, and of course about Moog Music, his company. But what I was really looking for was a good interview clip where Moog himself explains his technology. So, over to YouTube, where I found some good sound bites. Those clips had to be transcribed, and I had to add the YouTube videos as sources to my bibliography. Don't forget that any media you use has to be added to your working bibliography. So now I have my history on synthesized music in hand, and I have a lot of other material on hand as well, including some good sound bites. Time spent so far? 5 hours. In my paper, I wanted to give some perspective on how Moog's inventions changed the face of modern music. So, once again, more research. I found lists of the popular musicians who were doing progressive rock, jazz, and even classical music with synthesizers, and watched a bunch of clips on YouTube to see what they'd done with these musical machines. I've now basically done my research. Time spent so far, 8 hours. You notice I haven't written one word of the paper yet, but I have a lot of material and one heck of a working bibliography. So I sit down with all of this material and start putting together my paper. You know, a bit from here, a little bit over here, another backup reference from there, and so on. In the end, I used only 6 references to write the paper from almost 20 original articles, since many of them said the same thing anyway. The writing and revising took 8 hours, and that was for a short paper of only 2,000 words. Time spent so far, 16 hours. The final editing and cleanup of my paper was only another hour, which isn't that bad, considering I had the paper done and I just had to use my working bibliography to create the final one for the assignment. When it was done, the whole process took only 17 hours from the first time I looked at the assignment until I had a paper that was ready to hand in. As you can see, this isn't something you can accomplish overnight on the evening before it's due, and that was only for a short paper. It's not unusual to take a few hours or several days or even a couple of weeks to research and write a proper university-level academic paper. And that's how you create a winning paper that you are proud of handing in and your professor will enjoy marking.